The missing girl left one clue, then disappeared without a trace. Behind the Crime Files presents. The last thing 14-year-old Emma Purcell ever wrote was a single word. It wasn't help. It wasn't a name. It was something so small, so strange, that the detective who found it almost threw it away. But he didn't. And that one word would tear a quiet American family apart, expose a secret hiding in plain sight, and leave a question that still has no answer. This is the story of a girl who vanished from a full dinner table, and the one clue she left behind. Let's go back to the beginning. To anyone on the outside, the Purcell family was the picture of normal. They lived in a small town called Oak Ridge, a place where neighbors left their doors unlocked and kids rode bikes until the streetlights came on. The family home was a light blue two-story house with a porch swing and flower boxes under the windows. It was the kind of street where everyone waved when they drove by. Emma was the youngest of 3 children. She had long brown hair, she always pulled into a messy ponytail. She loved drawing in notebooks, listening to pop music, and texting her friends late into the night. Her mother, Diane, worked at a local dentist's office. Her father, Mark, drove a delivery truck for a hardware store. To the world, they were a happy, hard-working family. But Emma's older brother, Jake, noticed something. He was 17, quiet, and spent most of his time in the garage fixing old cars. He told police later that Emma had changed in the months before she disappeared. Not in a big way. In small ways. She stopped laughing at dinner. She ate less. She started wearing long sleeves even in summer. When Jake asked if she was okay, she would just smile and say, "I'm fine." That smile never reached her eyes. The night Emma disappeared started like any other Tuesday. Diane made meatloaf and mashed potatoes. The table was set for 5: Diane, Mark, Jake, Emma, and their older sister, Chloe, who was home from community college for the week. Everyone ate together at 6 o'clock sharp. That was the Purcell family rule. During dinner, Emma seemed quieter than usual. She pushed her food around her plate, but didn't eat much. Her father asked her about a math test she had taken that day. Emma nodded and said, "It was fine." Her mother asked if she wanted to watch a movie later. Emma shrugged. Chloe tried to make a joke about something that happened at school. Emma didn't laugh. After dinner, Emma helped clear the plates. She washed the dishes while her mother dried them. Diane said later that Emma seemed distracted, like her mind was somewhere far away. But Diane didn't push. She figured Emma was just tired. At 7:30, Emma said she was going upstairs to her room. She said she wanted to call a friend. That was the last thing anyone in the family remembers her saying. At 8 o'clock, Diane called up the stairs to ask if Emma wanted ice cream. No answer. Diane called again. Still nothing. She walked upstairs and knocked on Emma's bedroom door. The door was unlocked. The room was empty. At first, Diane wasn't scared. She thought Emma had gone to the bathroom, or maybe stepped outside to get something from the car. But a few minutes later, the family searched the whole house. Basement, garage, backyard. No Emma. Then the fear started. Mark called Emma's phone. It rang inside her bedroom. They found it on her nightstand, right next to her sketchbook. Her shoes were still by the front door. Her jacket was still hanging on the hook. Her bike was in the garage. It was like she had simply vanished from inside the house. The police arrived at 9:15. The officer who came first, a young patrolman named Officer Reese, thought maybe Emma had run away. He asked if there had been any fights. Diane said no. He asked if Emma seemed sad lately. Diane hesitated. "A little quiet," she said, "but nothing serious." Officer Reese told the family that most missing teens come home within 24 hours. He took a photo of Emma and promised to put out an alert. Then he left, but Diane couldn't sleep. She sat in Emma's room, holding her daughter's pillow, breathing in the smell of her shampoo. That's when she noticed something odd. Emma's sketchbook was open, not to a drawing, to a blank page, and in the very corner, written so small you could almost miss it, was a single word. Basement. Diane stared at it. Her heart started pounding. The basement was finished. It had a couch, a TV, and a laundry area. Nothing scary. But why would Emma write that word? And why hide it in the corner of a blank page? Diane ran downstairs and grabbed Mark. Together, they went to the basement. They turned on every light. They looked behind the couch, inside the closets, under the stairs. Nothing. Mark said maybe Emma was just bored and doodling. But Diane couldn't shake the feeling that the word was a message. A clue. A cry for help. The next morning, a detective was assigned to the case. His name was Detective Harlan Croft. He was a heavy man with a gray beard and tired eyes. He had worked missing persons for 15 years. He had seen runaways, kidnappings, and everything in between. He didn't get excited easily. Detective Croft interviewed the family one by one. Diane was emotional but cooperative. Mark was calm, almost too calm. Jake was nervous and kept looking at his hands. Chloe was crying and couldn't stop apologizing, even though she hadn't done anything wrong. When Detective Croft asked about the word basement, everyone gave the same answer. There was nothing unusual down there. No secret rooms. No hidden doors. Just an ordinary basement. But Jake hesitated. For just a second, Detective Croft noticed. He pulled Jake aside and asked him again. Jake's face went pale. Then he whispered something that changed everything. "My dad used to take Emma down there," Jake said. "At night, after everyone went to bed. He said they were working on a surprise for Mom's birthday. But Emma stopped going down there a few months ago. She started shaking whenever he asked." Detective Croft asked why Jake had never told anyone. Jake started crying. "I didn't think it was bad," he said. "He's my dad." That same afternoon, Detective Croft got a warrant to search the basement again. This time he brought a team. They moved the couch, pulled up a corner of the carpet, and checked every wall. Behind an old bookshelf, they found something. A small door. It was painted the same color as the wall, almost invisible. The door was locked. Mark was in the kitchen when they found it. Detective Croft asked for the key. Mark said he didn't know what door they were talking about, but his hands were shaking. His voice cracked. They broke the lock. Behind the door was a small room, maybe 8 feet by 8 feet. No windows. A single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. In the room, there was a mattress on the floor, a small table, a notebook, and on the walls, written in pencil over and over again, was the same word. Help. Dozens of times. Hundreds. Some written big, some tiny, some smeared like they had been erased and written again. Detective Croft felt his stomach turn. He called for forensics. They found fingerprints. They found hair samples. They found fibers from clothing. And on the mattress, they found a single silver earring. Diane later confirmed it was Emma's. Mark was arrested that night. He didn't fight. He didn't cry. He just put his hands behind his back and let the cuffs go on. The neighbors watched in shock as their quiet delivery driver neighbor was led to a police car. But here is where the story takes a turn no one expected. Mark denied everything. He said he never locked Emma in that room. He said he didn't know the room existed. He said the previous owner must have built it. And the earring? He said Emma must have dropped it down there while doing laundry. His story was weak. His lies were obvious. Everyone thought the case was solved. Then the DNA came back. The fingerprints in the hidden room did not belong to Mark Purcell. They did not belong to Diane, Jake, or Chloe. They belonged to no one in the family. In fact, the prints did not match anyone in any criminal database. The hair samples were from at least 3 different people. None of them were Emma. And the notebook found on the small table? It wasn't Emma's. It was a man's handwriting. The entries were strange. Dates, times, measurements, and at the bottom of the last page, one sentence. "She is ready." Detective Croft brought Mark back in for another interview. He showed him the DNA results. Mark broke, but not in the way you might think. He didn't confess to hurting Emma. Instead, he started crying and said something terrifying. "I didn't build that room," Mark said. "But I knew about it. I knew from the beginning. I was supposed to watch her. Keep her quiet. Keep her inside. They said if I told anyone, they would take Jake and Chloe too." Detective Croft asked who they were. Mark wouldn't say. He just kept repeating, "They're everywhere. You can't stop them. No one can." That was the last time Mark spoke about the case. He hired a lawyer and refused to answer any more questions. He was charged with child endangerment and obstruction of justice, but not with kidnapping. Because there was no proof he took Emma. There was only proof he knew. So where was Emma? The investigation went cold. Officers searched the woods behind the Purcell house. They dragged the nearby river. They interviewed every neighbor, every teacher, every friend. Nothing. Emma Purcell had vanished like smoke. But there was one more clue, and it came from Emma herself. Remember the sketchbook with the word basement in the corner? Detective Croft had kept it as evidence. Months after Emma disappeared, he looked at it again. This time, he held it under a different light. He noticed something. The word basement was not the only thing Emma had written on that page. She had also drawn a tiny map, so small you needed a magnifying glass to see it. The map showed the house, the basement, the hidden room, and then a line leading from the hidden room to a spot in the backyard near the old oak tree. Detective Croft went back to the house. Diane had moved out months ago. The house was empty. He walked to the old oak tree with a shovel. He dug for 3 hours. He found a metal box. Inside the box was a letter. Emma's handwriting. The paper was wrinkled, like she had cried while writing it. This is what the letter said. If you are reading this, I am gone. I don't know where they will take me, but I know it's far away. Dad didn't hurt me, but he let them hurt me. The men in the basement. They came at night. They wore masks. Dad said if I screamed, they would take Chloe too. I tried to be brave, but I can't anymore. Tonight, they said it was time. I don't know what that means. I'm scared. Please find me. Please don't forget me. Detective Croft sat under the oak tree and read the letter 3 times. Then he called the FBI. The case was reopened. A national search was launched. The DNA from the hidden room was run through every database again. This time they got a hit. A partial match. A man in another state who had been arrested for a similar crime years ago. That man's name was never released to the public. But when the FBI went to his house, he was gone. His home was empty. And in his basement, they found another hidden room. And another girl's name written on the wall. Emma Purcell has never been found. That was 12 years ago. Her mother, Diane, still lives in Oak Ridge. She still leaves the porch light on every night. Jake joined the military and never talks about his father. Chloe became a social worker and helps children in danger. Mark Purcell served 4 years in prison. After he got out, he moved to a different state and changed his name. He has never apologized. He has never explained who they were. Some people believe Emma is dead. Others believe she is still out there, hidden somewhere, waiting to be found. But the one thing everyone agrees on is this. Emma Purcell tried to warn her family. She left one clue. A single word on a blank page. And if someone had looked closer sooner, maybe she wouldn't have disappeared without a trace. Behind the Crime Files doesn't tell these stories to scare you. We tell them because someone needs to remember. Because every missing girl deserves to have her name spoken. Because the smallest clue can be the loudest scream. If you want to help keep Emma's story alive, hit the like button. Share this video. Leave a comment with the word remember, so we know you were here. And subscribe to Behind the Crime Files. Because there are more stories, more names, more clues waiting in the dark. Emma Purcell, if you are out there somewhere listening to this, your porch light is still on. And we will never stop looking.